Alrighty then, update midweek from the workshop on the 79 Z650 C3. So interesting, even I get stuff wrong. So apologies, Stephen, you know who you are. On this bike, which came in 1,000 parts, as you know, the harness, this main wiring harness right here, the one that you can see sort of just loosely in at the moment, was delivered with the bike. And one would make the assumption, incorrectly as it turns out, that the harness that came with the bike was in fact the correct harness for the bike. Wrong. So, in a moment of madness, now that I have some headspace and emerging spaces of clear concrete, although it doesn't look like it, progress has been made. I looked up the original wiring diagram specs for an Australian delivered, which this is, 79 Z650. And it turns out that the 79 Z650 C3 does not use a bullet style connector handlebar control, as you can see here. They use a block connector like that. And specifically on both sides, block connectors on both sides. So in rummaging through the two big buckets over there, you can see which are all wiring harnesses, handlebar controls, etc., etc., etc. I realized that I had the original correct Kawasaki wiring harness for a 79 ZC3. Now the reason for me digging was variously I couldn't get things to work, and there were no shorts, the fuses were good, the battery's fully charged, it's a brand new battery, etc., etc., etc. And in pulling all of this apart, I thought, nope, that's it. I'm going to put the original, or what I believe to be the correct original harness on, and voila, all of these problems are fixed. So for example, idiot lights come on. So this is good. If I flick it into gear, neutral light goes out, also good. If I turn the headlight onto Parker, which is your kind of right there, you'll see that. And you'll also see the Parker light come on. I don't have a headlight bulb in that's working. That one's just there for place. It doesn't actually work. If I turn the headlights on, you can still see these are being illuminated correctly. Only one side was working before. If I hit high beam, which is this switch right here, you'll see that come on the dash. That's hard to see because it's light. You can just basically make that out. Also the passing beam, which is this fellow right here, that does the same thing. You can see that come on the dash. Sorry, it's really difficult to see. And we have a very myopic sounding 70s horn. Now, with all of that said, the really important thing, so this is all good, happy with all of this. Oh, and final thing, we also have indicators. So you can see them going front and back, happy days, right? Same on the other side. Boom, there we go, see it over the top, see it over there. Very happy with all of that. Now, the really important thing is that this bike, as most Kawasaki's did back in the day, is fitted with a clutch cutout switch, which is that wire and that wire right there that comes off the clutch handlebar, which means that you can't start the bike unless that's pulled in, releasing the switch. Now, I've tried to turn the bike over and couldn't get anything. Obviously, that's the go button right there. And this is going to be a little bit difficult to do, but let me just try doing this, see if that will work. Kinda. No, not really. All right, I'll try to do it. I'm going to hold the clutch in here, and we'll just push this. You can hear it. Now, you hear that rattle? That is a loose tooth in the starter motor. So, we fixed one problem, start button, solenoid is good. We know that's correct. It's got to be tidied up and installed, obviously, which leads us to fixing the starter motor, which is under here. So obviously, with the amount of time that these bikes are on the road and how often the starter motor gets used, is very, very important just to double check, like I'm doing now, that everything actually works. So we're now down to the point where the starter motor intermittently turns the engine, and yes, there is oil in the engine, which is all good. You can see a little bit down there, which I need to nip up. So that's the other part of doing a shakedown test on all of these things, is to make sure there are no leaks, as you would imagine. So we'll nip that one up tomorrow, and then also we'll pull the starter motor out and just bench test. We've got a whole bunch of them back there, and there's probably 6 that are for a Z650. So I'm going to pull this one out. We'll pull that one apart. I'll do a separate video on that, just to show you what components are in a starter motor, because I think it's quite interesting actually, the brushes and the stator and all that. But I'll do a video on replacing this. Super easy to replace. Actually a really nice bike to work on. They're very well put together, and other than the accumulated dust and dirt that you get after 40 something years of these things being around, they scrub up pretty nice. This hasn't even been washed yet, and it's looking pretty damn tidy. So there you go. We're in the shakedown phase. I do this with every single bike, and I cannot stress again the importance of just taking your time, walking through the various systems. Like the engine turns over, we know the engine's good, we know that the rear wheels are good, we know the brakes are good. Now it's the electrical shakedown test. So can't stress enough how much importance I place on that particular part of the process, because when it comes time to hook up the fuel bag with some Go Juice, some 91 Go Juice, we want to know for sure we've got spark, which is our point system down there, although technically on this model they aren't points. So we've got spark, we've got spark being generated here and spark at the spark plugs. They are 2 different things, and you have to check both. We've got fuel coming from the petrol tank into the carburetor, so it's checking the petcock and also checking that the fuel bowl, these floats underneath, have fuel in them. And the final thing is the electrical system has to be 100% working properly. So there you go. That's the final things. I think there's probably going to be 2 more videos on this one. One when all the systems are together, and then we'll do a first start on this, because this is a 0-kilometer rebuild. It is not a concours bike. The new owner knows that it's not a concours bike, but it's a very tidy example. And it is, I would argue, and I think many would agree, I think it's the best example of a 650. The 79 had the double disc up front, single disc in the rear, really nice carburetor setup, super easy to work on, oil filter is really accessible, air filter is right in here, battery's super easy to get to. This one's even got an original seat that I've refurbished, got the correct seat latch which is holding this up, safety check stickers, all that sort of thing. So it's going to be lovely. Anyway, enough of my babbling. I'll leave you with this lovely long shot of our delicious candidate for life back on the road again. And I will catch you in the next video. Cheers, everyone.